Hello, my dear student friends. Welcome to this session. Let us study the condensers used in the refrigeration system, especially the vapor compression refrigeration system. Before we start the discussion about the classification of condensers, you should try to understand the function of condensers. So, condenser is nothing but a heat exchanger which is used in the vapor compression refrigeration system and other refrigeration system like vapor absorption system also and air refrigeration system also. But in air refrigeration system, instead of condenser, we are having the heat exchanger or air cooler because there is no change of phase of the refrigerant. So condensers as heat exchangers are used in the vapor compression system and vapor absorption system in refrigeration. So these condensers will remove the heat from the refrigerant and thus convert the refrigerant vapor into liquid. So first of all, the superheated vapor of the refrigerant is cooled so that it gets converted into saturated vapor. And if the cooling is continued in the condensers so that the saturated vapor further gets converted into liquid, first of all saturated liquid, and then if required into subcooled liquid. So the function of the condenser is to cool the refrigerant vapor and convert it into liquid refrigerant, right? So now let us study the types of condensers which are used in the refrigeration systems. Now this classification of condensers is based on the cooling medium used. In the condenser, cooling is done. There is a heat exchange of heat. So for that some cooling medium is used. So either we can use air as the cooling medium or we can use water as the cooling medium. Sometimes we use both air and water as the cooling medium. So first of all, the condensers may be the air cooled condensers or the water cooled condensers. If air is used as the cooling medium, then the condensers are classified as air cooled condensers. If water is used as the cooling medium, then the condensers are classified as water cooled condensers. But in some condensers, though water is used as the cooling medium, but this water is evaporated with the help of the air, right? So the stream of air is flowing over the condenser coil along with the water. So this air may flow over the condenser naturally or in a forced manner. But this air, when it comes in contact with the water will evaporate. Some of the water will evaporate and the heat of evaporation is taken from the condenser coil. Ultimately the heat of evaporation is taken from the refrigerant so that the refrigerant gets cooled and it gets condensed into liquid, right? So we are going to study these different types of condensers one by one: air cooled condensers, water cooled condensers and evaporative condensers. The air cooled condensers are further classified as natural convection type and forced convection type. So if we are not using any fan for forcing the air over the condenser coil, naturally the air is flowing over the condenser coil. That is called as the natural convection type air cooled condenser. But sometimes we are using the fan for forcing the air to flow over the condenser coil so as to increase the rate of heat transfer. So that type of condensers are called as the forced convection type air cooled condensers. So the forced convection type air cooled condenser may be chassis outdoor type or remote type. The natural convection air cooled condensers may be fin type, plate type and fin and plate type. So we are using the fins and the plates. In some cases we are using only fins, some cases we are using the plates. They also act as the fins only. So these fins or the plates are nothing but the arrangement for increasing the area of heat transfer. So the condenser coil, the surface area of the condenser coil may not be sufficient for the heat transfer. So that area is increased. So when the area is increased, the rate of heat transfer increases, and for increasing the area, we are adding the fins or the plates as extended surfaces to the coils of the condenser. So depending upon that, these natural convection type air cooled condensers are classified as fin type, plate type, or fin and plate type natural convection type air cooled condenser. So similar fins we are also used in the forced convection type air cooled condensers. Now the water cooled condensers are classified as shell and tube type water cooled condensers. Shell and tube type may be horizontal or vertical. Shell and coil type water cooled condenser, it may be series flow type or the parallel flow type. Then the double pipe water cooled condensers may be cleanable type or helix type uh, water cooled condensers. Then the evaporative condensers may be induced type evaporative condenser or the forced type evaporative condenser. So this is the overall classification which we have discussed. So this is the total classification at a glance. Condensers are classified as air cooled, water cooled, evaporative. Then evaporative condensers are further classified as induced type and forced type, and further this detailed classification of air cooled and water cooled condensers is given here. So this is a total classification of condensers at a glance. Now first of all we will start with the air cooled condenser. So this is a grid type air cooled condenser, and this is the coil type air cooled condenser. So you can see this is the condenser coil and it forms a grid. You can see that these are the fins which are used. These fins are in the form of thin bars. So these bars are attached to the condenser coil so as to increase the area of heat transfer. So the refrigerant is entering from here. This is the inlet and this is the outlet of the refrigerant. The refrigerant is flowing in the form of coil. So in the due course of the flow of the refrigerant along the long coil, the refrigerant gets cooled and thus gets condensed due to contact with the air. So another is the coil type air cooled condenser. There is only difference in the shape of the coil. So this coil is forming a spiral. The coil is in the spiral shape. So this is the inlet and this is the outlet, and after the inlet there is a spiral shape. The spiral starts from the center and it moves in the outward direction like this. And here also fins are provided to increase the area for uh, increasing the speed of the heat transfer. This is the wire and tube type natural convection air cooled condenser. So such type of air cooled condenser you can see in the domestic refrigerator. At the back of the domestic refrigerator you can see such type of condenser. So it is a natural convection type air cooled condenser. So the wires are used as the fins for increasing the area of heat transfer, and the tubes are there. So you can see the tubes, there is only one you can say layer. The coils are far away from each other because they are natural convection air cooled condenser. The air is flowing naturally, and therefore some distance between the coils is necessary so that air can flow freely between the coils, because air is flowing naturally. It is not a forced convection air cooled condenser. It is a natural convection air cooled condenser, and it is wire and tube type. Then another, this is the forced convection plate fin and tube type condenser, right? So plates are used in this type of condenser, and this condenser is dense. The coils are close to each other. There is a small gap between the coils, and this small gap is sufficient because we are using a fan to blow the air over the condenser coil. So the air is forced over the small gap between the condenser coils and between the fins, which are the plate fins, and therefore air will flow at a faster rate and therefore the design of this condenser is slightly changed. It is slightly dense as compared to the natural convection air cooled condenser. The refrigerant enters from here, it flows along the coil, and the refrigerant leaves from here. It comes in contact with the air, and the heat is carried away by the air, and thus the refrigerant gets cooled and gets condensed from vapor to liquid in this type of condenser. Next condenser is the double tube condenser or the water cooled condenser. So water cooled condenser, now we are going to study the water cooled condensers, and this one is the first water cooled condenser. It is a double tube or tube in tube type of condenser. So you can see the cross section. So this is the outer tube and this is the inner tube, right? So here you can see that the refrigerant vapor, it is entering from here and it is flowing from in the outer tube. Refrigerant vapor is flowing along the outer tube having the larger diameter, and the refrigerant gets condensed and the condensate is coming out from the larger tube, right? But what is flowing from the inner tube is the cooling water. Cooling water is flowing from the inner tube and it is flowing in the opposite direction. It is flowing in the opposite direction. So it is the flow is in the opposite direction. So the cooling water is flowing through the inner pipe and the refrigerant is flowing through the outer pipe. And one more observation you have to do is that the refrigerant vapor is entering from the top and the liquid is coming out from the bottom, because liquid density is more. So the refrigerant, when it gets converted into liquid, it will be coming out from the bottom and the vapor has to enter from the top. Now the cooling water is entering from the bottom side and is leaving from the top side. So the warm water is going at the top and the cold water is entering from the lower side. So when the water becomes warm, so it automatically moves to the upward direction, right? And therefore the exit is at the top and the inlet of the cooling water is at the bottom, but the flow is in the opposite direction, so that the cooling is fast, but more water circulation is required in this type of condenser. Now again, this is a double pipe or tube in tube type condenser. So here also the refrigerant is entering from the top, it is flowing through the outer pipe and it is coming out from here uh, after getting condensed into liquid by getting cooled. Now the coolant, that is the cooling water, is entering from here from the top and it is flowing through the inner tube. Generally cooling water should enter from the bottom, but doesn't matter. Cooling water in this case is entering from the top, it is leaving from the bottom, and cooling water is flowing from the inner tube, and here the direction of flow is same, right? Now this is another type of condenser, that is water cooled condenser, shell and tube type condenser. So the refrigerant vapors are entering from the top of the condenser. They enter the condenser shell. This is the shell of the condenser, and we are having the tubes, right? So the refrigerant vapor enters inside the shell from the top, and the liquid refrigerant, after getting cooled and getting condensed into liquid, leaves from the bottom. But for cooling purpose, we are using the tubes of water. Water is flowing through the tubes. So here the water is flowing through the tubes which are present, or through this coil which is present in the shell of the condenser. So the water enters like this. It is circulated inside the shell, and after getting circulated, this water leaves the condenser shell, so that when the refrigerant vapors comes in contact with this cooling water, they get cooled and get condensed into liquid, and that liquid leaves the condenser shell from the bottom. So this is the shell and tube type water cooled condenser. Again, this is the shell and coil type water cooled condenser. So in this case, the refrigerant vapor is entering inside this particular shell of the condenser, and the refrigerant liquid is leaving from here, but the water is entering inside this condenser, that is the condenser coil, and it is moving inside the condenser through the coil, through the long coil, and it leaves, cooling water leaves the condenser from the same tube from the another side, so that this water will cool the vapor refrigerant, and this vapor refrigerant will then get condensed into liquid refrigerant. Actually, liquid refrigerant should leave from the bottom. So anyway, this is the shell and coil type uh, water cooled condenser. This is again a shell and coil type water cooled condenser. So the refrigerant is entering from the top and the liquid refrigerant is leaving from the bottom. The coolant, which is generally water, it enters from the bottom, it flows along the coil and it leaves from the top, and thus it cools the refrigerant vapor which get condensed into liquid, and this liquid refrigerant is leaving the condenser from the bottom. So this is the shell and coil type water cooled condenser. This is one more shell and coil type water cooled condenser. So in this particular condenser, where this condenser is having a shell as the casing, and the refrigerant is entering from the top, and the liquid refrigerants get collected at the bottom, and from the bottom the liquid refrigerant leaves this particular shell of the condenser. But for cooling purpose, we are using the cooling water. The cooling water is entering, it is flowing through the pipe, through the coil, and it is leaving from here. So this is the inlet for the cooling water, this is the outlet for the cooling water, and this cooling water is flowing through the long coil. As it flows through the long coil, it absorbs the heat from the refrigerant vapor, and the refrigerant vapor gets cooled and condensed into liquid, and this liquid refrigerant leaves this particular condenser from the bottom. Now let us study the evaporative condensers. So in evaporative condensers, as we have seen that evaporation of water takes place. Water is evaporated, right? So the water is coming in contact with the evaporator coil. Not only the sensible heat of water, but the latent heat of water is also utilized for cooling purpose in the evaporative condensers. So as the water, it flows, it trickles over the condenser coil. This water also comes in contact with the stream of air. So this stream of air, when it comes in contact with the water gets evaporated. Part of the water gets evaporated, and the heat of evaporation is taken from the condenser coil and ultimately from the refrigerant which is flowing through the condenser coil, right? And due to that, the refrigerant gets cooled and gets condensed into liquid, right? So that is the basic principle of the evaporative condensers. So evaporative condensers are very important. Let us study the evaporative condensers. So in this type of evaporative condenser, you can see that this is the body or the shell, the casing of the evaporative condenser. The air is entering and the air is leaving from the top, right? The refrigerant vapor is entering through the coil, it flows along the coil, this is the condensing coil, it leaves the condensing coil in the form of the liquid refrigerant. Okay, at the bottom water is present, so this water is pumped, uh, and this is the header, and this water is sprayed from this header by using various sprays. This water is trickling, it is sprayed over the condenser coil, and as it flows over the condenser coil, it also comes in contact with the air which is moving in the top direction, in the upward direction. So this is a fan or a blower. So this fan is inducing the air from the bottom. So this is the induced type evaporative condenser, right? So the air is induced from the bottom and it is moving in the upward direction. As this air moves in the upward direction, it comes in contact with this coil and the water. So due to the contact between the water and the air, the part of the water will evaporate, and the heat of evaporation is taken from this condenser coil and ultimately from the refrigerant which is flowing through the condenser coil, and due to that the refrigerant vapor gets cooled and condensed into liquid refrigerant, right? And the liquid refrigerant is coming out through the coil, and this air is moving in the upward direction. Now this air will contain some water droplets, liquid droplets of water, and that they are eliminated in this eliminator, and then air will leave this particular evaporative condenser from the top due to the action of this fan or the blower, which is inducing the air from the bottom, and this air is allowed to go out from the top, right? So this is the construction and working of the evaporative type condenser. So here we are having both the types of condensers, evaporative condensers. This is the forced circulation, this is the induced circulation evaporative condenser. So we have studied right now the induced circulation evaporative condenser. So the air is entering from the bottom. The fan is present at the top. So this fan is inducing the air from the bottom. Remaining construction is same, right? So the air is entering, it is moving in the top upward direction. So air is induced, and therefore it is called as the induced circulation type water cooled evaporative condenser, right? So here water tank is present at the bottom. We are also having arrangement of makeup water, and this water is pumped. This water we are having a spray header, and it is having several nozzles. So through these nozzles the air the water is trickling. Water is sprayed through the nozzles on the condenser coil, and the air is also moving in the upward direction. It comes in contact with the condenser coil and the water. So the water will be evaporated, and the heat of evaporation will be taken from this condensing coil and ultimately from the refrigerant. And this refrigerant vapor will get cooled and condensed into liquid. So liquid refrigerant is leaving from here, right? So the air is moving in the upward direction. It may contain some liquid water droplets, so they are eliminated in this eliminator, and the air is leaving out. This is the forced circulation type evaporative condenser. The only difference is that the fan is present at the bottom. So this fan is forcing the air from the bottom, and this air is moving in the upward direction, right? So air is not induced, air is forced, because the fan is present at the bottom and the air is entering from the bottom only, and it is moving in the upward direction. And as it moves in the upward direction, it comes in the contact with this condenser coil, as well as it comes in contact with the water which is sprayed over this condenser coil. So we are having a water tank, and water is pumped, and this is the header, and the water is sprayed through the nozzles. Spray of water we are obtaining, and thus this air comes in contact with the water. Part of this water evaporates due to the flow, due to the stream of air moving in the upward direction, right? And part of this water evaporates, and the heat of evaporation is taken from the condenser coil, and ultimately the heat of evaporation is taken from the refrigerant, and thus the refrigerant gets cooled and it gets condensed into liquid. From vapor condition, the refrigerant is condensed into liquid, and this liquid refrigerant is leaving this coil, and the air is moving in the upward direction. The air may contain some water particles, liquid water particles. They are removed in the eliminator, and the air will leave from the top. So air is moving from the bottom to the top direction, but in this evaporative condenser, the air is forced, the circulation of the air is forced by this particular fan, and in this particular evaporative condenser, the air is induced, right? Because the fan is present at the top and air is entering from the bottom. Here the fan is present at the bottom and air is entering from the bottom only, but the air is leaving from the top in both the cases, right? So this is again the evaporative condenser. uh, Let us study the various parts one by one, the various parts of the evaporative condenser and the construction and working of the evaporative condenser. So first of all, this is the supply water or the makeup water. So water is supplied to this particular tank. This is a tank or the water sump. So in this water sump, water is supplied, then this water is pumped through this pump, and this water is entering through the flow of the water is controlled by this control valve, and then this water enters through the first of all in the spray header. So this spray header is nothing but a pipe, and connected to this spray header are a number of nozzles. So through these spray nozzles, the water is sprayed over the condenser coil. And at the same time, the refrigerant vapor is also entering inside the condenser coil from the top, and as this refrigerant enters or moves along the coil, it gets cooled and condensed. So liquid refrigerant will leave this particular coil from the bottom. This is the fan at the top. This fan will induce the air from the bottom. So at the bottom, we are having inlet. So from this inlet, air from the atmosphere is entering inside this particular evaporative condenser, and it is moving in the upward direction because fan is pulling the air or inducing the air in the upward direction. So of course we are using some filter, some strainer, so as to remove the dust and dirt from the air, so that only pure air will pass through the condenser. It will not corrode the condenser coil, and the condenser inside of the condenser will remain clean. So this fan is inducing the air, and air is moving in the upward direction. So the air comes in contact with the water and the condenser coil. So due to that, the air will make the water to evaporate. Some of the water will evaporate, and the heat of evaporation will be taken from the refrigerant, and the refrigerant will be cooled and condensed into liquid, and the air will pass through the eliminator, because in the eliminator some water droplets which are present in the air will be removed, and the air will leave the evaporative condenser from the top through this particular fan. So this is a shell and tube type condenser. Already we have studied. So that was all about condensers. Thank you, my dear friends.